Hey guys, happy Wednesday. I am just gonna wait for a couple people to hop on. I'm actually really excited about this Zoom. Just kidding, this live, because this is not a Zoom. Okay. Gonna invite some people on here real quick. We're gonna start as soon as a few people hop on. Okay, when you hop on, do me a favor. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a housekeeper would you say that you are? So 1 being like you can't see the floor in my house, and 10 being like you are incredibly OCD and your kids aren't allowed to put a dish in the sink. Like they have to wash it as soon as they use it. For me personally, I would say I'm about a 7 or an 8. But I used to be a 2, and that's what I want to come on here and talk about. I feel like Facebook just gets a real negative rep for just a place that people come and like waste time and gossip and talk bad about people. And so I, over the last 3.5, 4 years, I've been part of a group of women that all we do are we share how to be better wives, better moms, better people. Hey, Susan. Hey, Miracle. Okay, so how good of a housekeeper are you on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being you can't see your floor, 10 being you're like extremely OCD. I'm going to give you 8 tips. Just kidding. 9 tips. Really quick that I learned on Facebook. Because again, Facebook is such an awesome place to come and be able to compare yourself to the right people. The people that motivate you to be better. I'm not talking about comparing yourself to, Miss Susie Instagram, who is always vacuuming in high heels and pearls and her hair is always done and, like the staged photos. But what I am talking about are learning from real moms on what works for them and what works for their family and kind of taking tips back and forth from each other. So, hey Dana, hey Tamra. Guys, when you're hopping on, jot me down where you are watching from. And if you're watching the live, type live. If you're watching the replay, type replay. Hey, Kathy. Okay, so the first, again, these are just tips on how to keep your home cleaner. That really is like the gist of the video. But they are very practical things, and they're things that you don't have to be a perfectionist to do. So these are things that I have learned through people on Facebook, maybe different sermons, podcasts, that kind of stuff. And then I was in a Sunday school class last week and they hit on a few of these points. I told my husband, I was like, dang, like this man knows what he's talking about. So the first tip is just make it a priority. You need to sit down with your husband or your spouse or your significant other and basically decide like how clean or how organized or how whatever Richmond, Texas, like what's our standard? For me, if you guys know my background, I've talked about it a little bit. Growing up, we were very, very, very poor. We also lived in pretty much a dump. Many times you couldn't see the floor. It just wasn't very clean. So I came into my marriage with much different standards than my husband did. My husband comes from a home who his mom is literally like that perfect mom that always had home cooked meals done. The house was clean every single day. She raised 4 boys and ran a business. Like, it was just night and day. Our families were night and day. I remember the first time visiting their family, I was like, holy crap, if this is what he is used to, like, he is in for a rude awakening. I can't cook to save my life. I really don't know how to clean. Like, I don't even know where to start with keeping a clean house. And it was just awful. So we kind of sat down and we had to figure out, okay, what is our standard as a family going to be? And then how are we going to actually make that happen? So the first thing is just make it a priority. And there's no right or wrong. If you are somebody that you and your husband, you feel like your house needs to be like white glove inspection ready all the time, go for it. If you feel like maybe a little dirt doesn't hurt, but we want to make sure there's no mold growing on the dishes. Like your standard of how clean your house is going to change during seasons of life and, whatever. But you do need to make a priority of whatever your standard is. The second thing is scheduling it. I'm going to show you one super simple way in just a second that I do this. But what I do is every single day I spend 45 minutes to an hour cleaning my house pretty much first thing. Like if you haven't seen my video on how to have a miracle morning, what I do is as soon as I get out of bed, very first thing that I do is I hop in the shower. Second thing I do is I clean my house. Third thing I do is my miracle morning meditation. So when I say the first thing I do is clean my house, I do the things that need to be done every day. Nothing crazy. I basically go room to room. I straighten up everything. I wipe down the surfaces. I start the dishwasher. I start the laundry. Very, very simple. And then the things that I do every 2 to 3 days. So during that time, I basically will assess like what of these things need to be done. Taking out the trash, vacuuming, sweeping, cleaning the toilet, and putting the laundry away. And then what I do is I used to deep clean once a week. Now I deep clean more like once every 2 weeks. It really just depends. I got real behind. That's why my hair is wet right now. Like I just finished deep cleaning my entire house. It feels amazing to be able to sit down and know like everything is clean. All the laundry is done and put away. All the dishes are done and put away. You guys know that feeling. Like drop me down to 1 if the best feeling in the world to you is when your entire house is spotless. Now it doesn't last for more than like 24 hours, but it feels good when it's there. So what I do is I don't typically take a day or two and deep clean. I do a couple rooms a day. So this is what I do at the beginning of every week, and my week starts on Saturday. So on Friday night, I sit down and I write down all the rooms and then everything that needs done in that room during the week. So kitchen, for example, the cabinets need wiped down, the Lazy Susan needed cleaned out, the fridge needed cleaned out, the stove and the oven needed cleaned, the table and like the legs, and then sweeping and mopping all the floors. Yeah, it's a good feeling, right? The office this week, I just needed to organize a few of my things. I sent thank you cards out to all my customers, and that part of my office has gotten pretty messy. Clean down all the desks and mop the floor. So, and then I also have our meal prep list on here, which we will talk about in just a few minutes. So I got this at the dollar store, guys. You could use just a black marker. Personally, I went to Walmart, spent $4 and got like some cute colors because it helps me stay organized. So literally the beginning of your week, write down each room and what you need to get done in that room that week. And then the next step to that is you're going to assign a room to every day. Now for us, it looks a little different because Sundays and Wednesdays are church days. I also homeschool, so we're just really busy, and I run a business. So when I say busy, like busy would be the understatement of the year. Like we just have a lot going on. So what we do is Saturday is my meal prep day. Sunday I don't do anything. Wednesday I don't do anything outside of homeschooling and working. Monday I deep clean both of our bedrooms and the hallway. Tuesday I do the living room, the garage, and the office. Again, Wednesday we skip. Thursday I do the bathroom. Friday is our grocery day. So it's when we bring all the groceries in. And then the day that I clean my kitchen. I like to clean my kitchen before I bring groceries into the house. It helps me keep inventory so I'm not wasting money on groceries we already have. It also helps me make sure that I'm not going to have any funky smells in the fridge later because something in the back is getting old and I didn't see it and I'm putting new stuff on top of it. And all of a sudden now it's rotted and our whole house stinks. Have you guys ever done that? Drop me a 2 if you've ever had a smell in your house and you have no idea where it's coming from. This is super embarrassing, but I thought our drain, something was wrong with our kitchen drain. Like our kitchen just smelled really, really bad and I could not figure out where it's coming from. It almost smelled like when you leave laundry in for like several days without taking it out. Between that and some kind of like chicken that was left out overnight or something. So I could not find this, guys. For 3 dang days, I am like scrubbing everything. I'm so irritated that I cannot find the smell. I'm cleaning out the trash cans. I'm like cleaning out underneath the sinks. I could not find anything. And then one day, I don't even know why, I grabbed my husband's lunch box. It's in our laundry room. It's like a lunch pail. To pack his lunch that day, because I don't know why we hadn't been using it. I think we had 2 or something, and he left one at work. So I grabbed it. That was the smell. He had not eaten his lunch one day, brought it home, and he works midnights, so sometimes his brain is not fully functioning when he walks in the door. He didn't take his food out, but he put his lunch box up. So for, I don't even know how long, I didn't open it. I literally threw the entire lunchbox away and bought him a new lunchbox. I was not about to open it. Like, I have such a weak stomach. I said, screw this. I'm buying you a new box. So I went to Walmart and I just bought him a new little cooler. But it, like, you could tell when you picked it up, it smelled awful. Like, I wanted to barf. So anyways, all that to say, it helps eliminate not having smells in your house. The only thing I don't schedule is putting the laundry away, because I don't ever know when it needs to get put away. Typically, I do it on like Tuesday and Thursday, but whenever I need to put the laundry away, that's the day I take 10 minutes and I straighten up the laundry room, wipe down the washer and dryer, and just make sure our laundry room also doubles as like a homeschool storage area. So I just make sure everything is in its place. Doing that a couple rooms a day makes it to where I deep clean my house every single week without taking the time to like deep clean the entire house. Does that make sense? So like I said, I got real behind at that. Life happens. You're not going to be perfect. The point of this is not to be perfect. But I was able to take all of yesterday and like half of today and just go through and deep clean every single thing that I needed to. And now we're back at being able to do a couple rooms a day and actually keeping up with that. So number 3 is declutter and throw things away. That might sound real stupid and basic, but guys, it's a lot easier to keep things clean when you have less of them. If you guys have been watching my stories, yesterday we just went through all of my daughter's toys, and now I'm working on purging all of her clothes and shoes. We do that every 3 to 4 months in our house. Definitely before birthdays and Christmas. This past Christmas, I don't even think we bought her, or this past birthday, I don't even think we bought her a birthday present. I don't think we did. We took her to a few different places. We had a 2-week-long birthday celebration with friends and camping and different things. But yeah, we didn't even buy her because she didn't need anything. I purged all of her stuff and there was nothing that she needed. And I just didn't want to bring in toys just to bring in toys. So we went and did fun stuff instead. Number 4 is making a list for your family to do chores. Now, this is one that really is going to depend on your situation. For example, if you're a stay-at-home mom and your kids are in school and your husband is working, 40 plus hours a week, there's really no reason why you can't do all of the house cleaning. And I know I'm going to get some flack from that. That's okay. There's just not. Now, if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're homeschooling your kids, like, that is a job, in my opinion. You're not getting paid for it, but like, that takes some time. So there's nothing wrong with communicating with your husband. And one thing I did with mine, when I first started working from home, he did not understand that I was still working, because I transitioned. Those of you that know have been watching me for a while. I was working full-time in corporate America. I was working way more than full-time hours. My daughter was in daycare. I loved my job. I just did not like having someone else raise my kid. So eventually I advertised on social media. I started doing this to make a couple $100s a month. Eventually, about 9 months in, I was able to replace my full-time income. I was able to come home, and now that's what I do. I teach other moms how to make full-time incomes off of social media. So I love it, but it's still work. So when I first transitioned into doing it full-time, my husband, who had been pretty good about sharing the household responsibilities because we were both working, he decided it was going to be all my job because I was now home full-time. And it wasn't like we didn't talk about it. He just stopped doing anything. And so I got real frustrated because I'm already struggling at that point. I was home full-time with a 6-month-old baby, or toddler, I guess, or I don't even know, 6-month-old kid. I had never had to own my own time before. So I was struggling with like just time management in general and like disciplining myself to actually work. And now I have all the household responsibilities on top of being a full-time mom and a full-time business owner. So we had to really sit down, and the easiest way you can do this if you're struggling in the same situation, you need to sit down and make, for the next 2 weeks, keep track of what your husband does with his time and what you do with your time. Meaning, like for example, at the time, my husband was working 40 hours a week, but he was commuting 2 hours a day. So that added on, and he was working 6 days a week, so that added on an extra 12 hours. So I put him down as 52 hours of work time. And then I clocked, and again, I wrote everything down so he could see it. Like I spent an hour cleaning this morning. I spent 30 minutes giving Gloria a bath. I spent 3 hours, working my business in this trunk. And so I was able to sit down and show him, not including, like just the regular day-to-day household stuff I was fine with. But when it came to like, who was going to sweep him off the floors that week and who was going to put all the laundry away. Like when I hit 52 hours, I showed him, I was like, hey, this is what I can get done in 52 hours a week. Keep in mind, I am still working full-time. I'm just doing it from home. And this is the stuff that still needs to get done. Can you help me do it? Like, can we divide up the chores? And at that point, he was much more understanding because he was seeing where my time was going, and I wasn't just sitting at home watching Netflix all day. So that kind of comes to be fair. If you're like right now, my husband is working 70 some hours a week, not including drive time. So I do every single thing at home. I'm basically 9 months out of the year with my husband's job right now. I'm considered a solo parent, meaning I'm married, but I'll never see my spouse. Not really, like he's very good about making time for us, but the time that he's home, I don't want him to have to be doing dishes and folding laundry. So I do all of that. Now, 3 to 4 months out of the year, he has a very slow season where he only works 40 hours a week. At that point, I show him, like, this is what basically homeschooling in my business eats up my 40 hours a week. So that means all the household stuff, we sit down and we kind of divide and conquer. So that really just gets good at you guys communicating. But then that's also where this comes in handy. This is on our fridge. He sees me checking things off every day. So if he has a minute where he's like, hey, I want to... I've got 30 minutes that I can help her with something. All he has to do is look at my list and see what needs to be done, and he goes and does something and tells me, like, hey, I just did this and checked it off. Then the tricky part to that is if he doesn't do it the right way, exactly how you want it done, just shut up. Like, he will never do it again if you tell him that it wasn't done good enough. I learned that the hard way. So anyways, that is something that really helped us. Number 5 is making a list the night before. So what I do before I go to bed is I just jot down everything I need to get done the next day. Now, my brain, if you're a night person, put a 3 in the comments. If you're a morning person, put a 4. I'm a morning person, meaning my brain functions better in the morning. Doesn't mean I like getting up in the morning. It doesn't mean that I look forward to the 5 a.m. alarm. It just means my brain functions better in the morning. I make the to-do list the night before, but I know I'm probably going to forget something. So what I personally do is when I get up, take my shower, clean, do my miracle morning, then I sit down, I plug my to-do list into my schedule for the day. That way, during that, couple hour period where I'm cleaning and listening to podcasts and that kind of stuff, when things pop in that need to be on my to-do list that I haven't put on there, I can add them to my list before I write out my schedule. I used to be a night person. I don't know. I think having a kid messed me up. Number 6 is use technology to your advantage. Again, I feel like so many people are just, especially older people, like people my age or even a little bit older, they're so against social media and technology and just different things. But in reality, they can make your life a lot easier. Let me tell you. You figure out what's in your area. Every area is different. For us, we have Walmart pickup, so all I have to do is order my groceries online, go drive through, and they'll put them in my trunk for me. Now, we don't do that. We use a delivery service. We pay $10 a month, and they deliver our groceries right to our door. Now, Some of you are like, dang, $10 a month, that's a lot of money. You know what? I would probably spend $10 a month going grocery shopping every week. Definitely my time is worth more than what I'm spending. So it just kind of goes to what your priorities are. And if you're someone who you can honestly say like the situation that we're in, our time is worth more than our money, so we don't mind paying for the extra convenience. Now, if you're somebody who maybe you are a stay-at-home mom and you're not bringing any money into the household and you want to go grocery shopping, like why spend the extra $10 when that kind of is part of your job? And if you like going grocery shopping, maybe that's your time where you get to, I know I have a friend that her once a week grocery shopping trip, her husband watches her 3 kids. She goes out, gets a Starbucks, and goes grocery shopping by herself. She loves it. So again, like you do what works for your family. Now, if you look at me and you can honestly say, I don't have any time, but I don't have money for the grocery service, that's where you need to come talk to me and I will tell you how to make more money and make more time, like what I did. So if you don't have any time and no money, that's where something is not aligned in your priorities, and that's where you need to make a change. Music is another wonderful piece of technology that will make cleaning your house so much better. I popped in the 90s station last night, which is now apparently considered the oldies, and it just makes me feel like a dang grandma because I should not be listening to like the songs I liked in middle school and high school on an oldies station, but apparently I am. And I was, going to town, cleaning my kitchen and just having a good old time. I also do audibles, I do podcasts. Just again, use technology to your advantage. Number 7 is sharing ideas and tips. And that's where I'm coming on and sharing with you guys. But again, that's why I am so for Facebook if you are following the right people. You should be following people that inspire you to be better, not ones that let you have like this false sense of accomplishment for just being average and not pushing yourself. I know there's people like that out there. I know there's people in the I Am Enough movement where why try to be a better person when you can just do what you've always done and people can tell you how great you are. That is not my philosophy. The friends that I surround myself with, that is not their philosophy. If you want to be a better person, you want to be a better mom, you want to be a better housekeeper, you want to be a better wife, like there are so many people out there to follow and just get inspiration from. Compare the right way. Don't compare in the way of I'm never going to be as good as them. I'm not as pretty as she is. Compare in the way of, man, this works for her. Like, I'm going to use this. Number 8 is meal prep. Meal prepping has helped us so much. And you say, well, that's not a housekeeping tip. It is, because it creates more time. Now, I meal prep completely. Like on Saturday, I cook all of our meals for the entire week. We put them in little black meal prep containers from Amazon, put them in the fridge, and I don't have to cook the rest of the week. On some of you guys don't want to do that. Maybe your husband isn't a fan of eating out of to-go containers. I get it. Like we probably thought like that for a while too. But one thing you can do is maybe cook up a couple packs of chicken breast. So you have your protein cooked. All you have to do is add them to your meals during the week. Same with maybe some pork chops or have some boiled eggs on hand. Like if you have something that you can cook just to make your prep cooking a little bit easier, I guess. And then number 9 and the last thing is just pray about it. And I know that sounds kind of dumb when it comes to housekeeping. Like it just sounds a little crazy. However, I have found that I pray for every single area of my life. So if I am about to get online to do my grocery shopping, I'll ask God to send me some kind of deal or just bring me across, if there's any specials that are going on so where I'm not having to hunt for them. When it's time to do my house cleaning, I ask God to give me a good attitude about it because it's much more enjoyable when I'm not like, oh man, I hate doing the dishes. And I don't particularly like cleaning. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you. I am not one of these women who, my ambition in life was to be a homemaker. Not even a little bit. But I can honestly say that I enjoy, providing for my family, and I enjoy homeschooling my daughter, and I enjoy keeping our house clean. So I hope that helped. Again, this is not to make you seem like you've got to have a perfect house all the time. Used to be 2-3 times a week you could pop into my house and it would look like a tornado hit it, to be honest with you. Now it's about once a week. So it's all about making progress. When I was in college, they would always say, like, before you sit down to relax or whatever, ask yourself, if someone walked in my house right now, would I be embarrassed? If so, you probably should clean up a little bit before you sit down and relax. Work comes before play. So now I kind of ask myself that. Again, I do work from home. So sometimes it's like, crap, I overslept a little bit. I'm going to sit down and work. But yes, if someone popped in my house right now, I would be embarrassed. But I need to get this Zoom done, or I need to, check in with these teammates or whatever. So there's a give and a take there. But the point of this video is just to give you guys tools to make your house cleaning and your homemaking skills a little bit easier, a little bit simpler, a little bit more attainable. So all that to say, thank you guys for hopping on. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys later.